It's important to search for opportunities of empowerment because there'll be many times where you feel disempowered as a person of color, more specifically as a Black African-American student here on this campus. My name is Christina Wilkerson. The reason why I selected Columbia was because online I saw so many Black faces for the School of Social Work's website. The student population for Blacks was very low. When I got here and I learned about the push out of people of color within the community, my experience of feeling isolated at Columbia made more sense. Sometimes you feel that a teacher or a faculty member or a student in the class may say something racist, but it's like one of those, it's a microaggression. It's like, it's not really racist, but then you know something is wrong with it, but they're not outright saying, you know, they're not calling you the N-word or anything, but you're like, I don't really know, something isn't right here. So I was able to like confide in my friends, be like, am I tripping or is there something wrong with what was just said? And I started to think, what would I tell a student of color or a Black student who's entering a predominantly white school? What would I tell them? Like, what piece of advice would I give them to help them make it through? What would other people tell, you know, Black students? What would other Blacks tell other Black students?
Have a diverse group of friends for support. Be open and make sure that you're involved or participate in as many events that happen in your department. Make sure that you introduce yourself, you meet people. Oftentimes you'll find that you have more in common with someone regardless of the color of their skin.
It's important to outperform your peers in order to defy the expectations. I had a person on my committee inform me at the beginning of entering my department that his expectation was that I would be lazy, a lazy student. It was just inherent in me, and it was my duty to make sure that I proved him wrong.
Don't let derogatory comments about the Black community go unchecked. Often things are said so quickly and said from such an intellectual point of view that we tend to overlook those things or filter those things out.
Push back against uncomfortable conversations about racism, white privilege, and oppression. I look white, but I'm not. And I don't identify as white. I identify as biracial because my father's Black. However, a lot of people assume I'm white, which means that I've had a lot of those really uncomfortable conversations. A lot of times we feel like it's our burden to have to, quote, educate people and have those conversations. If we don't do it, nobody will. And I found that, especially here at Columbia, that's a big deal because the conversations aren't being had.
Connect with other students of color. Students of color really sort of let me know that, you know what, it's not just you, it's the entire university, it's the School of Social Work, it's the School of Public Health. These are the different things you can do. This is a community that supports you.
A shared color does not make for a shared experience. Sometimes my friends wouldn't really understand what I was saying regarding certain phrases or accents compared to their tone of speech. Whether they're from the South or if they're from New York, it's just a completely different culture and language as well.
Seek out Black clubs and organizations, a community or organization that I can join to meet some of these people of power, meet people in these positions is just extremely important. And I think that in any field or anything that you're studying, that it's important that you find that community so that you can not only build yourself, but build within others who are within your community.
Find a mentor. For me, I don't think that I utilized the mentor that I had as often as I should have. And by doing that, I was left to my own self to try to figure things out. And doing that and not being familiar with the system and not being familiar with the different politics and things that would take place, I missed out on an opportunity to actually graduate with my class.
Never conform to something you don't believe in. If you ski and you're Black, Black people ski. If you eat tofu and you're black, black people do that. It's not only, you know, twerking competitions or how much you love scandal doesn't define, you know, your blackness. At the end of the day, you exist, you're housed in a beautiful black body, and who you are is who you are.
It is important to remember why you're here and who you're here for. Be focused on why you're here and what you're trying to get. You're trying to get that degree, you know? Don't let anyone tell you that you're inferior. You're wonderful, you're beautiful, you earned this spot. Get what you need to get and, you know, get out and really, you know, be the change agent that you want to be.
I do want to make it clear that this obviously isn't a survival guide. Like I'm pretty confident that if you're an African American student or a student of color and you've made it this far to Columbia University, that you have the tools to finish. But hopefully this will empower someone who is in this similar situation so that they can say, just like I said, oh, so I'm not crazy, so I'm not the only one. So if they made it out, then I can make it out too. And that's what I hope people can take away from this.